Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Such a morning, right?
I am Doug Palacio.
I am April Martinez.
And thank you so very much for joining us. It's a beautiful morning out. It's a hot Wednesday morning.
Hot Wednesday
My
morning.
goodness, you could feel that heat, and it's only just after 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's already hot.
I mean, the sun was supposed to rise like around 5:30-ish this morning.
So what time it rise?
It rise around 5:38, but they may foggy up, so I couldn't see anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
And that's the trek from Belmopan. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people would tell you when it comes to heading west, somewhat heading south, like for instance, being on the Hummingbird Highway, you will meet a lot of fog.
Yeah.
And there's a symbol. It symbolizes something out there when it comes to being foggy. It simply means that they want hot.
Yeah, hot.
And so therefore, we want for folks to, especially in times like this, you should stay hydrated.
Yes,
and that's
drink a lot of
primarily
water.
when it comes to your health. Make sure that you're hydrated at all times. You're drinking the amount of water that the body requires. They say, 8 glasses per day?
Yes.
So do me a favor, every hour and a half, set an alarm and
But
you
you
go
know
and you
what,
drink your
something,
water.
John, people take for granted that you have to drink water like that from 8 to 5. Remember, you have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's
Then
well,
you
that's
wake
true.
up, 7, you drink your glass of water. Before you go to sleep, you drink your glass of water.
Primarily, you're supposed to have a glass of water as you wake up.
Yes.
Because the body was without it for that duration of time
Yeah.
that you were sleeping. Some folks wake up and they actually get a glass of water while maybe they use the bathroom or they woke up thirsty. And so they would do that. But at the same time, the body requires a lot of water. In hot times like this, make sure that you get your water in the body. But speaking of that, primarily the first order of duty, April, is always to let you know what's buzzing. And what we do is that we seek out the 6 p.m. newscast from the day before and tell you exactly what we feel of some of the stories on there. As per usual, we'll see the criminal front. We'll see traffic accidents.
Yes.
Or traffic, we're going to call it crashes then. Because
Well,
how do you say an
transport say it's
accident?
not an accident
It's not an
anymore.
accident.
Yeah.
So you'll see these things in the newscast. As a matter of fact, there were 2 yesterday. I think there were 2 that we highlighted in the newscast yesterday. But for me, I think one of the things to highlight at this particular point is the proposed rise in the
Minimum
wage.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely, and I point that out simply because it affects everybody,
Yes.
whether it be positive, whether it be negative. And when it comes to businesses, that's one of the things that would eventually hard hit businesses because we might not be economically sound as we would like. But for families, it is welcoming to the air, knowing that, you know what, minimum wage will be going up at 5. What's your thoughts?
I mean, the reality is that we should have had this conversation many years ago, and I think that we had taken to the streets and we had asked public civilians what they thought about it. But I think it's very important to understand that for many years we were borrowing a lot of money. We were in debt. Even though our dollar is predominantly higher than most of the Caribbean and Latin American countries,
you're right.
our population cannot manufacture large amounts of goods and resources to export. Therefore, we're not exporting as much as we probably should to increase our economic flow in the country. But then again, we also owed a lot to other countries.
We also owe a lot to other. Indeed, you're right. You're totally right.
And then, of course, coming out of the pandemic 2 years ago, the entire global economy crashed. So now we are trying to crawl out of that, right? We're slowly crawling out of that, but then we haven't taken into consideration the past, 20 years of being in debt in this country.
Yeah.
So yes, we should probably have more than $5, because let's be honest, $5, only $1.50 is not more.
Yeah.
But the conversation to start it, I think, is healthy.
Do you think that we should have had a threshold in terms of the amount of years that things would eventually, like for instance, minimum wage should rise? So every 5 years or every 10 years, every 7 years, simply because we see the rise of a lot of things across the world. A lot of people are actually focusing here at home.
Yeah.
And for this reason, I always say that it's best to keep abreast of current situations, international affairs, so you know where the high cost of things are coming from.
Yeah.
It might not stem from your country. I don't think anybody in their right mind will say, okay, man, things bad enough for your country, we're just going to raise this there and then. When everywhere around you, it's at a certain cost. What are your thoughts?
I agree, but how can we? This is the part where it gets tricky, and this is where I suppose we need more conversations like this. If everything else is rising and your paycheck is stagnant, and my paycheck is stagnant, then how am I going?
How do we push money throughout the economy?
Exactly.
Yes.
How are we going to buy? Yes, there's always a conversation flowing of people want to find a way. If you could find a way for this, you want to find. Yes. However, if you are making $3.50 an hour and you only are able or eligible to work a 6-hour day for 5 days, that's not even rent. That's not even rent for some people. That's not food. That's not making sure you cover your utilities. Not even get me started on the poverty rate, because then most of these people have big families where you only have probably one parent that is working.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have all of these pending issues that are interconnected and you can't afford to live, not even, I won't even say luxury, because certain items you don't need, but sustainable items like food and paying your bills and making sure you have running water, those are vital resources that you need on a day-to-day basis. And if you can't afford it,
then that's tough.
Exactly.
Speaking of vital or things that we really need within our country, fuel. That's what we really need, especially if we're going to move or traverse from point A to point B. You're a perfect example. You're actually coming from 48 miles, 50 miles, 52 miles away, and that's daily to come to work.
Yes.
Now, what about that?
Yep.
And what we're seeing in our country at this particular point, which brings me to the fact that premium gasoline is almost $18 a gallon.
I don't know if it was with you that I was sitting in this couch with, but I do recall having this exact conversation at the beginning of the year, and I said, mark my words, before this year is through, it will be at almost $20, and we're not even halfway through the year yet.
But check this out. While Belizeans are feeling the pinch of yet another increase, the government of Belize has been making attempts at providing some relief to motorists. Copies of 2 statutory instruments passed in the month of June reveal that GOB has substantially reduced the excise duty on diesel and regular fuel.
Yeah.
So there are measures that are being put in place. What are your thoughts on that?
But you know what will happen, John? Because at first, the reason why premium fuel was the one to tax and to raise prices on was because it was at the highest demand, right? The new motor vehicles and so forth, that is the better fuel to provide. So they say, right? Now that these prices are skyrocketing, you're going to see a switch. And then they're going to raise the bar on the regular price the regular fuel that will be the most high on demand.
Would you believe that premium fuel is being called a luxury fuel?
It is. It is. And let's be very, very honest. You only have at least about 3 or 5% of the population that could properly afford it and not feel as much of a heartache on that, right? And most of them are in the private and government workforce.
There we go.
It's not to say that they can't find another way or anything like that. The conversation needs to continue on as to how do you expect people to survive. And the reason why I say it is that nowadays more and more people commute for work.
A lot of people
commute for work, and we shouldn't have to move our entire lives to a particular area to find jobs.
And I'm totally there with you, but I also want to highlight within this excerpt here, and I feel that there will be a trickle-down effect, and check this out. So To keep the price of a gallon of regular gasoline below $14, GOB has also reduced the excise duty on regular gasoline from $3.29 per US gallon to 75 cents per gallon. Now you check that out? So it went down. Okay. On the other hand, the excise duty on premium gasoline remains unchanged, and while it may come as a no comfort to motorists, the decrease in excise duty on diesel and regular gasoline has led to over $8 million in revenue losses for GOB. But yet, we're on the forefront now of rising minimum wage to raise minimum wage to actually $5. But GOB is losing some funds there. I'm thinking like, okay, there must be a trickle-down effect of something that will be coming out of this.
You know what would have been a good solution, I suppose, because I know we sit here and we talk about the issues, but the reality is that if we had more public transportation or more access to public transportation, I think it wouldn't have been as much of a problem for people that are working for different cities, right? In different cities. And the reason I say that is because yes, people want to say, but we have bus all the time. I don't know when the last time you catch a bus, John, but I just catch a bus the other day. And if I missed the 12 o'clock bus to go to Belmopan, I have to wait one whole next hour. And that's not adequate, sufficient public transportation.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then of course, those prices went up. You're now looking at $8 to pay for express, well, from Belmopan to Belizean, and $7 regular. And that's huge in price. That's. I remember when I had to pay $4, $5 for bus.
That was then. This is now. The reality is actually setting in that things are changing not only in our country but across the world. And that's just a piece of the pie that we could share with you from last night's newscast. You could always rewatch on our Facebook page, also on our YouTube page as well. But don't forget that. And I know we watched it last night because we see it. I know you're going to sing some of their song. Look, I'll tell you what, man. I
was waiting for your audition. I was waiting for your audition.
Last night, so I actually watched back on, and this is the reason why I love the social media platforms that we've got. Because you could always rewatch what we show. KTV, the remix, the auditions aired last night, and it was excellent.
It was excellent.
You could actually start pinpoint people where I'll be this, where I'll be that. One later say, you know what? I
already have my favorites, and I already biased. But
gosh.
it's one of those. You know how I could tell people were anticipating and waiting for this on our social media platform alone, because I don't know about the TV, I can't tell on the TV stats, but we had over 5,000 people
straight stream.
Oh
my goodness!
They comment everybody done the pinpoint their favorite. Everybody done. They said this one, that one, this one is eliminated. That one will will make it through, and it was so. Fun to watch. Not just to watch the auditions, but to watch the reactions of the people in the comment section.
You're
right. Great.
So I'll tell you what, they're actually new people. You see new faces, you see some older faces, folks who have actually participated in the KTV already. And it brings additional competition because there's some people who knows the format. And then there are brand new people who
never.
My gosh. So what is it going to be like? You could rewatch again. Jenny is going to be a part of it in terms of a judge. Mr. Bradshaw. Yes, you know this? Some people say, you know Jenny the Fina, they take that one, leave it hard. But that's the piece of the pie. It is the most watched family show on television, on local TV across this country, and it's coming to you very, very soon. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, this coming Tuesday, just a week away, we kick things off with KTV. The remix, hosted by none other than William Neal. And you know how it is when it comes to William. He knows something else too. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait. We are looking forward to it, and we hope that you could be a part of it. Yes, you could watch it on the TV, but nothing better
than the Goda Bliss. Yeah.
It's going to be great, folks. It's going to be great. Make sure that you're a part of it. Attend and enjoy what we've got to offer. Belizean talent at its best. Live right here on 5, starting this coming Tuesday. All right. So what do you say we jump on to the eye-opener? We hope we motivated you to go on out to the Bliss starting next Tuesday and enjoy what we've got to offer. KTV, the remix. It's time for some motivation, and taken from dailyom.com, the eye-opener goes like this. Your destiny may be waiting for you, but whether or not you meet your destiny is up to you. There are those of us who believe that our lives are predestined and that we should resign ourselves to our lots in life. Yet the truth is that it is up to each of us to decide what that destiny will be. While each of us is born with a life purpose, it is up to us whether or not we will say yes to fulfilling it. And just like when we choose what to eat, who to keep company with, and whether to turn right or left, when we leave our home every day, choose to say yes to your destiny is a decision that can only be realized when you take action to make that choice a reality. Remembering that a decision to fulfill your destiny is always a choice can be empowering. Knowing you're fulfilling your destiny because you want to, rather than because you have to, can make a huge difference. When you're freed from obligation, obstacles in your way become challenges to be overcome, and the journey becomes an adventure rather than the obligatory steps you're being forced to take. Now, April, your destiny may be waiting for you, but whether or not you meet your destiny is up to you. Your fate is in your hand.
I
like
this eye opener is I think it's not for everybody. I think that some people believe that they take charge of their own fates and their own, and but there's always lingering universal pushes that kind of gear you towards a place where you didn't have control over. So that's how I'm going to take this eye opener. That your destiny may be waiting for you, but whether or not you meet your destiny is up to you.
But I have got questions, because how do I know that whether or not I meet my destiny? Why? If
isn't that something you feel?
Destiny, yeah, well, I really don't know. And you're totally right. It's not for everybody, like you mentioned. But your destiny may be waiting for you, but whether or not you meet your destiny is up to you. So how do I know not meeting my destiny wasn't my destiny?
Oh my gosh.
I've got questions about it, but at the same time, I still believe that you're the one who charts it out the best way possible.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a good example. There are those of us who might go to school and study hard and whatnot. That's actually paving the way to a better, right? Right? That's actually doing the work that you need to do. The road might be there, gravel, but how do you pave it? Studies, listening, reading, exposure. All these things actually give you a better hindsight in terms of where you're going.
Yeah.
But when you get there, that's your destiny. Now, not everybody living the same way or live the same lifestyle, but that's their destiny.
Yeah.
I've paved mine.
Yeah.
That's my destiny.
Right.
You get where I'm coming from there?
I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
The idea of each of us are born with a life purpose, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody meets that purpose of everybody meets that life obligation that they're quote unquote made for, or they're predestined to have. Sometimes we stray and sometimes we choose something else, and then you don't meet that destiny.
Look, I'll tell you what, many days I wanted to be a pilot. Up to today's date, I still think about it. I would like to fly for one of the local airlines that we've got here, because to me, it's just something that I feel within me. Every time I see a plane, I run outside because I hear it, or I just want to see how it flies. I just want to,
Do you feel like your entire emotional balance would be different if you were a pilot?
I'm not sure. Like, I can't answer it because I wasn't there. I've tried it, but at the same time, my destiny was here. And I feel it, especially for this particular time of my life. But what's going to be next?
Interesting.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So you might not, and you're right, you might not end up exactly where you wanted to be, but your destiny will or should have been here, which of course you're making an impact into people's lives.
But you wouldn't know that.
You never know. Exactly, and so that's what I'm talking about. But there was a road that I tried to pave, and that's the reason why we're here. Okay. Whether be it in the media, whether be it a football player, a basketball player, your destiny. You get me?
I get
So
you,
that's
yeah.
what we're talking about. So it's a great conversation for you to have at your workplace, have with your home, in your home, or have with your peers. What is your destiny like? Or do you feel it? Do you reckon it? And where do you want to go? Those are some great
Those
questions.
are hard
to ask
questions to ask too.
but they must be asked because it makes you better when it comes around.
Yeah.
Have the conversation. Speaking of the conversation, coming up shortly, we'll be having the conversation of the weather. All right, so here we go. All right. So I noticed with I nearly steel third base.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be chit-chatting with the forecasters shortly to let you know what the weather is. But we always say between June and November, it's the hurricane season. Do you have your plan in place? This is definitely one of the best times for you to make that plan. Speaking of the plan, we have planned on chit-chatting with Francisca Wellington. She's on the line. Let's execute that plan. Francisca, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah.
Bright and early.
Oh my
Right.
goodness. It's always nice to hear from you, Francisca, but I hope that you're the bearer of good news with great weather. Let's start with the
Yes.
general situation.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we'll be seeing fair weather today. Sunny skies, a few cloudy spells, and only isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms.
All right, that means PG not rain. That way to say.
Well, PG's is exception to the rules.
Okay, that means we can't say fair weather because fair for them, they would say. What should we expect with the 24-hour forecast?
Okay, so we'll see sunny skies, with cloudy spells, and isolated showers or thunderstorms.
Okay, and the winds?
East 5 to 50 knots, producing choppy seas and 3 to 5 feet waves beyond the reef.
All right, that means it's going to be a cool day today, highs and lows. Tell us about those.
Okay, 88 along the coast this afternoon, 93 inland, and 81 up in the Maya Mountains. Overnight, a little bit on the warm side, 81 along the coast, 74 inland, and 68 up in the Maya Mountains.
All right. So we are in the hurricane season. We'll be taking a look at the tropics shortly. But what should we expect for the extended forecast?
So we'll be seeing similar weather conditions, meaning isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms. And recall, I gave Marlene a 101 meteorology. Isolated means. Do you recall?
Well, you said Marlene.
You said Marlene.
You were present when I gave her that, but
Oh,
isolated means
John.
libertarian in a Creole.
Oh my goodness. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Libertarian?
Okay, isolated mean libertarian. You should rock that
That's
down,
right.
Francisca. The next time you come on,
Just a
and,
libertarian.
you say not isolated showers, but libertarian.
Okay, I will do that if you want. No problem.
So let's take a look at the tropics. What should we expect? Is there anything out there we should be looking out for?
Currently quiet. We have a tropical weather across us yesterday, and we'll be seeing another weak one, I think, about today's Thursday by Saturday.
Okay.
Won't give us a lot of rain.
Okay. Well, we've been warned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
All right. So now we know what isolated means. So the next time you come on, you ask for the question.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Leave it a rain, John.
Leave it to rain, and which
Leave
of
it
course
to
is some good news for us across the country.
Yes.
But it's that time of the morning to move on to let you know exactly what the conversation is going to be like. 3 wonderful segments. As a matter of fact, we'll be kicking things off this morning with the economy development of Belize. Now, how is that going to be? This is with the insurance corporations. Now, this is ORINCO. All right. So we'll be having some conversations about that. How to insure, what to insure. How do you go about insuring your stuff? We'll be talking to the professionals in the first segment.
And then we move on to our second conversation with the International Youth Foundation Mind Education Program, John. Mind Education. What is Mind Education? We'll find out. We'll have the director from the International Youth Fellowship here with us to have all of that discussion for you.
All right. And in the third segment this morning, it's going to be all about basketball. Belizean basketball athletes prepare for baseline sports. What do they mean when they say baseline sports? Those are the questions that we'll be asking this morning so you know exactly what you're talking about. Those are our segments for this morning. Stay with us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting with, we'll be talking about insurance. Why you should, when you should, and how you should. We'll do that when we come back. Stay with us.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Communicate, collaborate, and improve your efficiency with Dell. At Cellular World, we carry a full line of Dell's innovative equipment, including high-performance desktop computers backed up by a 3-year warranty, Latitude notebooks, monitors, docking stations, keyboards, laptop bags, and other accessories. If you're shopping for your home or office, we have the Dell products for you. Dell has the machines to help you get in the game. Browse online and never miss a beat with your business. Visit us at any of our Cellular World branches in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us online. Cellular World. Low prices, more choices.
My name is Said Gutierrez. I'm the Protected Areas Program Director at Yashe Conservation Trust. Welcome everyone. Today we are here gathered to celebrate an important day for us. It's a biodiversity focused event. We're here at the Golden Stream Corridor Preserve, and we will be engaging youth primarily from the buffer communities around the protected areas. And so we're happy to have people around learning about protected areas and also specifically about the wildlife that is found within the Belizean Nature Reserve and the Golden Stream Corridor Preserve.
Hi, my name is Beth Dorgay. I'm the Science Director at Yashe. A BioBlitz is an event where communities and scientists come together to record as many species as possible in a short amount of time. So this year at Yashe's BioBlitz, we are going out into the field, into the protected areas, and we are documenting all of these species that we can see and hear. That includes birds, mammals, trees, freshwater macroinvertebrates, native bees. There are more than 1 million species on this planet, and these species are facing threats from climate change, habitat loss, invasive species, and other things. So events like this, where you go out and record species, are really critical to actually helping to improve the knowledge that we have of the species in the first place. And second of all, we hope to really engage community members to be able to build their knowledge of the species around them and inspire them to be able to do conservation work like this in the future.
I'm Arutha Shori, Education and Outreach Officer. On behalf of Yashe, we'd like to thank each and every students, teachers, and adults that took part in this activity for this BioBlitz 2022 to become a memorable experience. Well, we hope that they actually, learned something. They actually took with them something that the science team put out to them for today. So they want to tell them thank you, and we hope to see them again next year for the BioBlitz 2023.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And we're back.
Just like that, we're back and we're moving now into our first segment for the morning. Now, this one is all about insurance. There is a group that's called ORINCO. We'll let you know exactly what ORINCO means. Now, many a times people talk about insurance and don't know how to. You just hear the word. But what does it really mean? We've got the professionals in to tell us all about it. Andrew Rowe is here, my buddy. He's the general manager of RF&G Insurance, and also Sandra Peters. My people, Sandra Peters is here with us, marketing manager, Atlantic Insurance. To both of you, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, guys.
Good morning.
So, you know, I read this over a few times, and I hear ORINCO, which they're definitely, it stands for something. Let's start there. When we hear about ORINCO, what are we talking about? Andrew?
Yeah, so ORINCO it's an acronym, stands for the Organization of Insurance Companies. And ORINCO has been around for quite a while. And what it is it's a forum for all the insurance companies, both life and health insurance, as well as what we call general insurance. So like myself and Sandra, Atlantic Insurance does general insurance, RF&G does general. That's your motor, your property, and those sorts of things. And ORINCO is a body where these insurance companies can come together, discuss common topics that the industry is facing, because as we're here to talk about inflation and that sort of thing, it doesn't matter which company it is, we're all dealing with the same challenges. So what we're here to do is kind of represent ORINCO as the body of insurance companies to discuss these challenging topics that we're working on.
So let's jump to the inflation then. We see how things are across this country, and more so across the world.
That's right.
And there is a trickle-down effect, especially with what occurs in that part of the world. Now, with respect to insurance, how does inflation, or how is there an effect with inflation? What can we say when there isn't necessarily a commodity coming from another country that would affect what we do here? How does that play?
Okay, John. Well, good morning again, and thanks for having us. And indeed, it's a very important conversation that we need to have. And that's why we've joined forces under the umbrella of ORINCO to be here this morning. Just like that, we're in July. We're in the second month of the hurricane season.
Yes.
So it's an opportunity for you to look at what you have insured, your property, and if you are adequately insured. And what do I mean by adequately insured? In relation to inflation, we know that things are going up. The cost of building materials are going up. Some would say even up to 30%. So we're collectively here, and we've started to make the media rounds, starting today with Open Your Eyes, to say to our policyholders and the general public, inflation is impacting the insurance industry, and it's real. We would like our policyholders to take a look at their policy, their sum insured. With the rise in inflation and the cost going up, are you adequately insured? That is the question that we would like to ask. And what you can do to combat underinsurance. And we know underinsurance is very important in our industry. If you are underinsured, you're bearing a cost or a part of the loss when you have an insured loss. So if you're adequately insured, if you're up to par, then you have transferred that to the insurance company, and then you will be paid for your insured loss. What are you going to do if you have a loss and you are not adequately insured? You are underinsured. That means you have taken a part of that insurance and saying that I will bear that cost. What are you going to do? Are you going to borrow? Inflation is here. What are you going to do? So we're here to discuss the effects of that. Andrew is going to get into the average clause that goes hand in hand with that for our companies.
Yeah, I mean, insurance, I think, it's a tough topic.
It is.
And it's very technical. It's financial. A lot of people think You know, when we start talking, I can feel them turning their ears off, right? So our goal here is to try and, you know, figure out how do we break this down as simple as possible.
Yes.
I think Sandra did a really good job of giving the overview, but in all insurance policies, whether it's RF&G's insurance policy, Atlantic, Home Protector, ICB, any of the other insurance policies, there's this clause called the condition of average. And what average means is, as Sandra said, you know, if you don't insure your property, let's talk about home, because I think that's what most people who are watching are probably thinking about. My home, which is, for most people, that's their biggest investment that they're going to make. Home is important. That's where you raise your family. That's where you intend to retire and live out the rest of your life, right? So it's a very important asset. Now, if you go and if you build your home, let's say 2015, you paid what it cost to build your home in 2015. So come 2022, if you built a nice home, you know, nice concrete building with good roof and nice interior and all that stuff, that stuff doesn't really deteriorate. That stays good quality, and there's very little devaluation of that.
Upkeep, yes, at the
right?
point in time, it's new.
So fast forward to 2022. You paid for that house in 2015. Let's say now 2022. Inflation has taken hold. Before the pandemic, you know, inflation averages 2-3% a year, which is manageable. This whole pandemic has just caused, as everybody knows, we go to the shop, you buy whatever you're buying, it's more expensive. So I don't think I have to explain that to everyone. But for those who are not building, they may not realize that construction costs have gone up, as Sandra said, up to nearly 30%, right? I see April nodding her head. She knows. She knows, right? So what that means is that the value of your house has now increased. Now, if you're still insuring that house for what you paid in 2015, in 2022, you have a problem where your sum insured is not sufficient to replace your building. So reverting back to what I was mentioning, that average clause, what the average clause means is that if you're not insured for the full replacement value of your home, you're essentially taking on some of the insurance yourself. So just to give a very straightforward example, if your house is worth $200,000 and you only insure it for $100,000, you're insuring half of the value.
50%.
50%, exactly. A lot of people might think, all right, if we have a hurricane and my roof blows off and I have to put it back, it's going to cost, say, $50,000. I have $100,000 insurance. I'm good. I don't have to worry.
At least so they feel.
So they feel, yes.
That's how they feel. But the way it works is that you've only insured 50% of your home. You're only going to be paid 50% of your claim. So that $50,000 is cut down to $25,000.
Yes.
You then, as Sandra said, have to figure out where does the rest of the money come from.
Definitely.
Wow. So this, you know, important to make mention of, because a lot of people might not understand the prints that are being you know, that is put in front of them, or they jump on it and say, oh, I am insured, everything all right, everything this, everything that. I want to talk about how do we get fully insured, or what are some of the questions that we must ask so we are fully insured. And I'll say this as well, that I feel especially when times are tough, people tend to want to chop insurance. For them, it's not important. It's another bill. I don't feel I need that. I'm as careful as possible. Nothing will happen. Is that so?
Definitely not. You don't need an umbrella or a roof, right, until it rains. But if you don't have it, you miss it, right?
Yeah.
It's tough times for everybody at this point in time, and we, as an industry, we understand that. And some people may say, you know what, I'll take the risk. But there is that what if. We see what happened in El Salvador.
Yeah. Tough.
It's tough. What are we going to do? If we look at our country and we're hit by a natural disaster, how do we rebuild? How do we bring back our economy? How do you provide for your family without a roof? So those are the questions you need to ask yourself. What am I going to do in the event of a loss? You mentioned about policy. Andrew and I were discussing this morning about when we got our first policy. We took it and then placed it in the glove compartment, and he said, okay, I'm fully insured. But gone are those days. People are actually reading their policies and we are encouraging people to read their policies.
Of course.
So some of the questions that you could ask your insurer is, what am I covered for? What if this happened? You could develop your own scenarios and you could come up. Remember, it's a relationship between you and your insurer.
Yeah.
So before you think about taking on that insurance for yourself, be your own insurer, these are the questions you must ask yourself. Can I truly afford to not have a home for my family?
But I want to take it back a sec, because we're talking about inflation, we're talking about rates, we're talking about the possibility of an increase in minimum wage, right? But what about the customers that I can't afford insurance? I've done my budget, I've done everything, and I don't have the sufficient funds to pay $100 or $300 for it. I don't have it. What can Atlantic or RF&G do for somebody like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. We experience that every day, right, Sandra?
Yes, definitely.
And it's not just today. We went through the pandemic where people en masse lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Businesses saw their doors shuttered. You know, tourism industry went from 100 miles an hour to 0 overnight. And so this is something that, when it comes to affordability of insurance policies, is something we've been dealing with for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I think each company has come up with their own ways of handling it. We, you know, since we're here for ORINCO, we want to talk broadly about the industry rather than the individual what each company is doing. But I think the industry as itself has proven that we have been able to push through. We've been able to help our customers, and they've come through the other side of the pandemic. Now we're dealing with the latent impacts of what the pandemic has caused. I think it's also important to say that during the pandemic in 2020, we had 3 hurricanes impact Belize: Hurricane Nana, Eta, and Iota. Eta and Iota were actually Category 4 and 5 hurricanes that went into Honduras, but the rainfall impacted us, and as you guys know, there was tremendous flooding across the country. The insurance companies stepped in, and we paid the losses, and that was at a time when it was needed most. And so it kind of reminded April, to your point, you know, people saying, can I afford it or not? There is a fine line. At some point, there's only a certain amount of money in my wallet, and I can only afford what if there's something that's more important, like feeding kids, sending them to school, that kind of stuff, that might come first. But at the end of the day, insurance is an important product. We live in a hurricane-exposed country. Sandra and I were talking about it's been generations since the country was impacted by a major hurricane, since Hurricane Hattie, which you probably, you know, our grandparents told us about.
I wish you probably remember.
So, you know,
we've had some little reminders, but we've not had that Cat 5 massive impact. The day will come. We don't know if it's this year or 2050.
You never know.
But the day will come, and that's what the insurance industry is here to support everyone with.
So let me jump on to one of the questions that we've got here. What can customers do to avoid underinsurance and the effects of the average clause? Let's hear about that.
Sure. You want to go, Sandra?
Tell us about
just to get back to a little bit of what April was saying, and to tie it up with Andrew, you would be amazed, April, as to what you can afford when you actually sit with your insurer and find out. Like we mentioned that we're here for the organization, but I would like to urge the public that you may think that you can't, but there's a possibility that you can. So before you leave yourself out there and say, you know what, I can't, take a look at it, and you may just be able to afford it and get that coverage.
But Sandra, you know, I'm making minimum wage, and I've got 3 kids. You know, I've got my mom who is sick. I'm not able to. I do understand the fact that we are in a hurricane season and things can happen at any time. Sandra, what can you tell me in terms of my budgeting habits that would make it better for me to go to the insurer?
I'll say, John, come and sit with me and we'll work it out.
The possibility of you finding that fund so you could eventually cover yourself, especially in times like this, is actually there.
And I think what people
Possibility is real.
too don't maybe overlook from their insurance companies, we are financial advisors.
Yes.
We are.
Definitely.
This is we are financial institutions, just as a bank is a
bank,
financial
yes.
institution. We are trained financial professionals, so we can help people look at their finances. How do I figure out what insurance product is best suited?
Yeah.
To
Definitely.
help, I mean, to your question, John, of how do I make sure I avoid that average situation? I think ideally first, as Sandra has said, look at your insurance policy and talk to your insurance company. Start the conversation. Each company will help guide the customers to where they need to go. Additional advice is if you have a contractor that you use for your at home around the house stuff, if you know that contractor is going to be the person who's going to do the repairs to your house if there's a hurricane or a fire, which is another legitimate potential claim.
Yeah.
Have that person say, hey, listen, if you were to build my house today, what would this cost?
What would it cost?
Per square foot, more or less. $150 a square foot, $180 a square foot. And then go back to your insurance policy and say, okay, I'm insured for this amount. My square footage of my house is this amount. What am I insured for per square foot? And if the contractor says I can build this for $150 a square foot, and you're only insured for $100 a square foot, there's a gap. And that's where you need to speak to your insurance company about closing that gap so that you avoid that underinsurance issue if there is a claim.
Wow.
Okay. I wanted to kind of gear the conversation to what I think most people think insurance companies do, which is, okay, my house is on fire, I need insurance, or I have insurance, so it's covered. But what about in the cases of there's a robbery and someone breaks into my home? What does my insurance policy say about that? Or, my neighbor picked me, threw a ball through my window, and now, so what are the clauses, I should say, in regarding to the policies?
Yeah, each insurance policy is different.
It's different, yes.
Yeah, each one is different, and each company has their own stuff. To answer the easy answer to your question, April, is there is coverage for all of those things that you mentioned. Now, there's tiers of insurance policies. There's high-end that covers basically everything. And then there's basics that cover just what you need, such as fire, hurricane, flood, those kind of things. And there's everything in between.
Okay.
And that comes back to your question, John, of affordability. What can I afford?
What
do I need? And those are the questions that you should sit with your insurance
provider. Yes, and get into that and say, you know what, this is what I need. And sometimes we are of the opinion that we need certain things and we don't, or that we don't need certain things and we do. So it's best, as Andrew mentioned, that it's an individual policy.
Yeah.
And it's a contract between you and the insurance company. So you need to sit with them.
So while we're, we've been talking about this inflation and how things are across the world, I might have my premium. Is it set? Will I see my premium going up? What can we see, or what can we expect at this particular time, knowing that there's an inflation across the world?
So your sum insured on your policy is kind of the basis of what your premium is calculated against, right? You have a sum insured, and then there's a rate that the insurance company sets, and that's what determines your premium.
Yes.
So I think it's important to say that the insurance companies are not looking to change that rate. At the moment, those rates seem to be stagnant. The sum insured is what's going up. So now, like we said, it costs more to rebuild my home, so that base is going up. At the end of the day, it means your premium
is going to go up.
That's the long and the short of it. Now, I think what we've heard in the beginnings of this whole conversation with the industry is the insurance companies are just looking to collect more money. The outcome is that, yes, the insurance companies do collect more premium, but on the other side, the insurance companies are taking more risk.
It's a greater risk. It's a bigger risk.
So when we're paying out claims, we're going to be paying out more. And getting back to this entire discussion, the goal of this whole exercise is to make sure that people are fully paid back for a hurricane loss or a fire loss or whatever it might be.
Any insured loss.
Any insured loss, so that we can make sure your building is put back to where it was and life can continue as normal.
As normal.
So let's talk about how do I make a claim in the event something goes wrong. How do I make that claim? Sandra?
Well, first, you contact your insurance company. And that's why we said from the beginning, it's important to know your policy, to know exactly what you're covered for. I really want to emphasize that it's a relationship between you and your insurance company. So people may say, I get my policy and then I take a look at it and I'm insured for anything and everything. No, you need to have that conversation. Your policy is unique to you and your situation. So if you find yourself in a situation that you need to make a claim, first you contact your insurance company. Make sure you safeguard life and property. Your life, we don't have a value on life. So safeguard life and property, and you contact your provider. And then we go from there.
A good point you just made, Sandra, I think is safeguard property. One of the things that is important, and it's a duty of you as the insured when there's a loss, is to safeguard your property. You know, if you asked about theft, April. So let's say there's a hurricane or your roof comes off, right? And you say, you know what? And this has happened. You know what? I'm insured. I'm insured, and I don't feel like dealing with this right now. I'm going to go to Miami for a week and rest my head.
And leave it.
And then I'm going to come back and deal with that.
Because I'm covered.
Because I'm covered. Now, in the meantime, while you're away, somebody said, well, that house is, you know, that
roof
house is
free.
in there. Yeah, maybe, and my stuff is gone. Let me go check what's in there.
What's in there,
I'll take that. Now, if you're not covered for theft, then the hurricane's covered.
I can't imagine somebody would leave after something like that happens.
Listen, the craziest things happen. Sandra and I, we could have a whole other show about all the craziness that we've heard from insurance claims. But on a serious note, safeguarding your property is important. Doing your duty, treat it as if you had no insurance, because that's how the insurance company expects you to deal with it. Don't just rely on the insurance company to pay it. Make sure you safeguard it. Get your insurance company in as quickly as possible, and then start to do your
start the claim process.
Start the claim process and start to hopefully build your house back.
Yes.
So then, does ORINCO advise their customers to over-insure their properties?
Yeah, good question.
Over-insure.
Over-insure.
Is there such thing?
There is such thing as over-insurance. Yes. But remember we spoke about the condition of average. If you're over-insuring, it doesn't mean because you have a property that is worth $100,000 and I over-insure it for $150,000, that's mean I'm covered. It's only valued at $100,000. All right, that's adequate insurance. So what you will be doing, April, is to be paying more premium, right? Because remember we said as the sum insured goes up, the premium will go up as well in order for it to facilitate the risk. So we don't advise you to over-insure. And that's why the reason for us being here as well is to have you think about adequate insurance. As inflation is upon us, we want to look at you being insured adequately, so that when that happens and a hurricane, a fire, whatever insured loss you may have, that you are covered and it's adequate, and that's the word, it's adequate. So your $100,000, now you're going to be insured for your full value of your property, not the $150,000 and paying more premium, but the $100,000. And then you start the claim process, and whatever your claim is, then that is going to be paid.
But so what possesses people to say that, okay, I'll put $50,000 more on top of my already $100,000 insurance? You said craziest things happen with
this. I think this is where we can throw in one of the big insurance words. It's called indemnification. Indemnity means you will be put back in the position you were before you had your loss. And that's the goal of insurance. It's not for profit. Some people think that, well, all right, I'm making leave money off of this insurance
Definitely.
thing. I'm going to insure with Atlantic, I'm going to insure with RF&G, and when something happens, I'm going to collect two claims. And we're going to make some money off of this thing. Now, that actually is essentially money laundering, and it's actually a criminal offense.
Yes, legal.
Yes, that's a whole other topic, right? But what it means at the end of the day is that we assess what did you have before the claim. We need to put you back to where you were. Is the policy sufficient? Sandra said there's no point over-insuring, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
You're paying more premium to the insurance company than you're going to collect back in the event of a claim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So primarily, though, we've been talking about the fact that there's a pandemic, inflation, and whatnot. But there are different types of insurance that that we've got as well. So there's life insurance, property insurance, and
health insurance, motor insurance. We get into some of the other more peripheral ones, such as liability.
The liability lines, yes.
Most homeowners don't have that, but for businesses, very important.
Yes.
Somebody comes into your premises and they slip and
They
fall,
slip and fall, yes, or
crack their ankle, you could be held liable for that kind of stuff. Legally liable.
Legally liable.
Carry to court, sue you. So that's where insurance companies then step in and
because
handle that whole
I mean, we've been,
process.
I don't know, but like for the past few weeks or so, they've been a number of businesses that have lost their tangible space due to a catastrophe. And I never even thought about what if somebody hurt themselves in your establishment and you don't have insurance.
And you don't have insurance, yes. So that comes out of pocket.
Okay.
Yep.
So there we go. So now we know, and these are some of the questions that people need to understand. Some of the answers that people need to understand. As a matter of fact, it was in one of those famous movies, Friday, when the guy said, much it costs for you, slip and fall, on a store. That's right. So all these businesses need to understand that these things need to be covered as well.
These things need to be covered,
we're quickly running out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we leave?
Sandra?
Yes. I'd like to reiterate to the general public and especially to our policyholders.
That's your camera right there.
Especially to our policyholders, that inflation is real. We see it happening every single day. I urge you to get in touch with your insurance provider. Look at your policy. Bring your sum insured up to date. Let it be adequate so that you are fully covered.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to add that this is not insurance companies trying to get more money. This is insurance companies having the difficult conversation before there's a claim. If we wait until there's a claim, that's when you're going to hear people really get upset because we haven't told you. We're here saying, come speak with us. Talk to us about your insurance policy. Let's get it right before the claim happens so that we can put you back to where you need to be. Because the consequences of doing nothing they can get very bad.
Yeah, indeed.
Definitely.
You're totally right, both of you, and we're so thankful that you were able to join us about to talk to us about inflation, what insurance is, and the fact that it's something that you need to have to safeguard yourself, your property, and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much
for having us.
All right, so we're going to take the break, and when we come back, of course, it's going to be another conversation. Segment 2 is all about a conversation with the director of the International Youth Foundation to discuss International Youth Fellowship Mind Education Program. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
You ready? We'll discuss that when we come back. Stay with us.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Wake up! Wake up! Now which cheese you think you may eat all the while? Got your cheese with the blue rooster on the label is the traditional and the real deal. The original Dutch, redback or hard cheese in a Belize. Be aware, Check your label and make sure it is in English and for the Belize market. Gallo cheese with the Blue Rooster, the real deal. Santiago Castillo Limited, supporting and building our Belizean community for 95 years and counting.
Gaia Edam Dutch cheese, aged and tropicalized, the best formula for the Belize market. Exclusively distributed by Santiago Castillo Limited.
I'm on my way to Belize, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Belize. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Belize, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Belize, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Belize, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
And we're back, and if you're just joining us, we've made a little bit of an Open Your Eyes remix, switching it out. Good to see you, Paul.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. And in with us for a second conversation, we have the Director of the International Youth Fellowship, Mr. Jermaine Garvey, to talk to us all about this new program in Belize. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. So let's jump right into it.
Yes.
You are a newly established, in Belize,
yes,
non-profit organization. Tell us about what is the International Youth Fellowship and what is it that you provide in your program?
Sure. IYF, it's a global non-profit. We cater to the intellectual, spiritual, and emotional development of the young people across the world. We were established in 2001, formally under IYF. We have grown exponentially since that time to just a little bit over 100 countries. And we've been impacting the young people all over the world.
Okay. So do you have a base, a headquarters that you operate from at one of those 100 countries?
Yes, we have different tiers. In the Caribbean, our regional headquarters is in Jamaica. For the region North America, we put Jamaica under, the Caribbean under there. That is in New York. And globally, our headquarters is in South Korea. It was originally established in South Korea.
Wow.
So as the director, you head a particular region, or is it that you look over the entire international bodies?
Well, I'm the director for IYF Belize.
Belize.
And yes, we came to Belize last November, so we'll be operating the programs here in Belize that I will oversee.
So talk to us a little bit about the Mind Education Program. What is it and why is that important for you to establish in your fellowship?
Actually, this is very important. We offer a lot of programs and services, the IYF, but everything that we're doing revolves around the mind education. The mind education, it's a systematic study of what we call the world of the heart. Of course, not the budum, budum, budum heart, but think of your heart as an invisible container. It contains of all your emotions, your thoughts, your past experiences, your goals, aspirations, everything that's coming from you that you want. But also inside of this heart, it actually forms your personality, your character, and who you are. Mind education explores that invisible world that we've never seen before. It enlightens the person about those things because from the heart, their actions are being driven. I've worked with a lot of organizations previously that deals with youth. And of course, we'll agree there is a critical problem among our youth regarding crime, violence, antisocial behavior, etc., right? Of course, governments and the people, we want to curb these problems, but I would say very boldly this morning, the approaches that we've been taking so far is actually ineffective.
Yeah. How so?
We've normally focused on what is called behavior modification.
Yes.
Trying to change behavior because that's what we see with our eyes. As human beings, we're physical creatures, so we're accustomed to the physical things. I'll give you a simple example. Think about the flu virus. The flu virus manifests multiple symptoms: headache, back pain, fever, sore throat, etc. Those things, they bother us, right? So we don't like when we get the flu. So we want to get rid of the flu. The thing is that we can see the symptoms, we can feel the symptoms, but actually those symptoms are not the true cause of the problem. The flu virus causes the symptoms. So what is the treatment? Treatment is not to get rid of the sore throat, the back pain, the things that are affecting us. The treatment is to get rid of the flu virus that's causing these symptoms. Once you eradicate the source, the flu virus, symptoms automatically dissipate.
So in other words, you believe that our methods have been treating the symptoms, not the actual problem.
That is correct. So they recur, and it's never lasting change. So I've done a number of camps as program director and manager of camps for government and also the public sector, private sector. And the end picture is seeing the actual change. Of course, I've always been paid to do these programs, but I boldly say from the beginning, it doesn't work. Of course, they're shocked.
In terms of the approach that's been taking.
But of course, still persons they want to see. For example, we do somewhere between 2 weeks to 1 month on a camp. You take these people from their natural environments and you put them into a campsite. In the morning time, somebody wakes them up, someone provides the breakfast for them, someone sends them to classes. If there are conflicts between the persons, we have counselors there to deal with the problems immediately and to make peace at that time. Someone provides lunch. Then in the afternoon time, they do some skills training or something. In the evening, they have dinner. And then in the night time, someone puts them to bed. Put them to bed meaning like lights out. Everybody has the bed down. If they have some inclination towards their vices, like those who like to smoke or do drugs, they cannot do it on the campsite. And if they're having struggles or desires for it, we have counselors to temper those desires. By the end of this camp, we have, for example, from the ministry, the minister himself, or from the public sector, the private sector, persons who are funding, the CEO or the chairman, they come. When they see these people, they're so impressed. Wow, you changed them. I say, no, they've not been changed. They have been conformed to the requirements of the camp. Because in the camp, we're providing everything that is necessary for this conformity. But when you remove them from this bubble and you put them back into their realities, there's no way that that's continuity. So they have conformed temporarily because of the conditions. But we cannot take those conditions and put into every community for the people. If we could, no problem. We can tame the people. Not tame, but you understand my point. But we don't have those realities. So we have to look at the solution to provide lasting change.
So before, I mean, interesting stuff, and I think that has been one of the prevailing issues that we've struggled with, especially here in Belize City. We often ask the police, the department and the ministers, why do we continue these mediation processes? Why do we repeat these engagement with these young men when they yield short-term results, and then you go right back and crime, for example, just spirals out of control again? And you're giving us at least one reason why that happens. At what point did you realize that, you know what, this is nonsense? There is a better approach, there is a different approach, and let's tap into that or try to figure that out when it comes to the mind education.
Right, so that is when our organization developed this. Our founder, Dr. Park, he was invited to the Chinese Youth League. These are the students in China that are like the creme de la creme that will replace the future leaders. The leaders, that replace the leaders. However, our organization were Christians. Dr. Park is also a pastor. So he was thinking about what can we present to these people. He cannot go to China and freely open the Bible.
Yes.
Right? So he got the wisdom from God, extracting the wisdom from the Bible. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, Solomon wrote, above all things, guard your heart, because from the heart flows the issues of life. So we say that everything that we do actually originates from the heart. And then based on what is inside here, the actions tend to flow thereafter. So we, from that, extracted wisdom from the Bible and formed this mindset education program. Recently, just last year, we finished a new version of our mind education program. We've formalized it and we've now put it into a textbook. We've made 4 courses that cover the entire society. There's a course for the primary level students. There's a course for the high school level students. There's a course for what we call adult, but that takes care of the university, public and private sector. And also there's a course specifically for the correctional services to deal with the inmates, to reduce recidivism, and also for the correctional officers to help them to manage the inmates with a different kind of mindset.
Wow. So we're talking about entire curriculums being developed and the whole textbook being developed as well.
Yes.
Wow.
How are you planning how is
IYF.
Yes. Excuse me. Planning to implement this program into, say, our prison, our schools, and our churches?
Right now, we're having discussions and we're scheduling to have meetings to have discussions with the key stakeholders across Belize, ministers of government, heads of organizations, to cover the entire sectors. We want to introduce to them the mindset education program and show them the necessity and the importance of it. Right now, we do the traditional based education, but we have seen also in our various studies, there are people who go through the entire traditional based education, they get very educated, but later on in life, many of them turn towards deviances and commit some heinous crime or acts. Recently, did you hear about Miss USA? She committed suicide.
Yes.
So in many of the meetings I've had in the past couple of weeks, I spoke about her. Why did she commit suicide? Of course, people say that she's depressed, she has problems. Don't you get depressed sometimes? I certainly do. I'm also a pastor, but I get depressed. But I don't kill myself. You don't kill yourself. The difference is the kind of mind that you have in those situations. Also recently, by the grace of God, the Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Transportation, Honorable Ferguson, Rodwell Ferguson, he accepted our invitation to go to South Korea. We have an annual Ministers of Youth Forum.
That's where he is currently?
That's where he is right now.
Okay, so that was at your invitation?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
So this is actually a big stepping stone for Belize, in fact.
Yeah.
When he goes there, he's going at the source exactly, where it started from. He'll be able to meet with our founder, Dr. Park, also with the director of, we have an institution, International Mind Education Institute. He'll meet with that director and also other senior officials of the IYF. And we're hoping that through those meetings, we can see great things. The minister will come back for the youth of Belize.
I think it's encouraging that you guys are engaging our leaders.
Yes.
Because we're experiencing a desperate state of affairs.
Yes.
And even if it is at the beginning just out of desperation that we reach out and accept a helping hand, I would imagine that at the end of the day, the results that these programs will yield will prove to have been the right decision to make. Let's talk a bit about some of the process that youth may engage in when they come to one of your fellowships, because you kind of outlined what it looks like when you go through that process that just speaks to behavior modification. But when you engage IYF Mind Education Program, what is it that the youth can expect?
Sure. Our generation of youngsters are evolving. Maybe the things that you used to do when you're younger, the generation today, they see it as boring and non-interesting. What is interesting is a smartphone. I have 2 children. They're pretty young. But unless they have a device to look at each day, their day is not satisfied, right? But what we're doing in IYF, call it a motto: challenge, change, cohesion. All of our programs that we offer is providing some kind of challenge that will bring a change kind of mind and will cause them to come together in harmony with cohesion. We have a multiplicity of programs that we offer that would pique their interest. Recently in Jamaica, we have some overseas volunteers that came. They're from South Korea and also from South America. Maybe almost 30 of them are there now. They held what is called a Korean camp. Jamaica is Caribbean, but you'll be so surprised how many youngsters there are interested in the Korean culture. K-pop, K-drama. Just mention BTS, Belizeans as well. I was shocked. At our IYF Center in Kingston, the capacity there maybe is like 400. So we sent out like invitations and advertisement. On the day of the event, over 400 persons were upstairs. We had to make space. Outside, we had to close the gate. There were over 200 youngsters waiting to come inside.
Wow.
And that was like advertising for 1 week. We held it again the following week. Over 400 students one more time came. All right, so there is an interest in the Korean culture. So we offer those kind of students that kind of thing. We teach them how to do cooking with Korean food. We teach them a Korean language. They learn about K-pop or Taekwondo, because we are the volunteers from that aspect. We also have people from South America, so we introduce them to the South America culture. So what we tend to do is we find what are the interests of the young people. We engage them in that. But whilst they're being engaged in that, we're also providing to them mind education lectures that will stimulate their mindset, their thought, and help them to move from the current state of mind that they have right now to a new and brighter mindset.
So the approach is in a camp form? Is it in a day, 1 day session? Does it vary?
It varies according to the time and what is happening. So right now we're looking for Saturdays to have day camps where youngsters can come to our center. We'll engage them in dance academies. We might engage them in some amount of online Korean activities and Spanish activities. And then also provide a mindset education to them as well. We're also doing a lot of counseling. We've met with some key stakeholders in Belize that caters for the youth. They recently did a needs assessment survey for the young people, and they informed us that one of the key things the youngsters are speaking about, they don't have people to talk to. Counseling, they want to express what we call their heart, what is going on inside, but they don't have the people who can transfer to them the positive heart back when they express their hearts. So we're also opening to giving counseling and mentorship to a lot of the young people as well.
Okay, so it's basically to train the mind in a new direction. It's basically to say, so if I am a stressed out, negative, my environment is negative, therefore I will project my behavior because that is the mindset.
Right. What has entered inside of your heart to make you negative, that is what will come out.
Right. So then the techniques and the program and the activities are to create a different way of intercepting the idea and taking out something positive.
Right.
So,
yes.
I was just going to question, and perhaps it's not a fair question, but let me ask it nonetheless, in terms of
I hope I can answer.
the guarantee, you know, because we kind of, earlier we spoke about the behavioral modification approach, and being confirmed to a camp setting and then going out and kind of still falling back into those ways. Where do you get the confidence that when these young people go through these trainings, that whenever they go back into these negative settings, because let's be real, I don't know that you're providing them with a whole new community, they still have to go back home. Right. Where do you get the confidence that these lessons will actually stick and hold?
Right. Like she was asking just now, there is a reason why they project negativity or the bad behaviors or something. That heart, which is like a container, is filled with something. If there's negativity, the only thing that can come out is negativity. So what we do is to replace what is inside of that heart, the positive things. So wherever they go, only what is inside will come out. The senior director in Jamaica, he often gives this story when he's talking to the young people. He grew with his mother. He didn't have a dad. Well, he had a dad, but dad wasn't there. But his mom riveted in his heart about the smoking, especially about marijuana. So when he was about 27 years old, years later, he was going on a hike to our highest peak in Jamaica, Blue Mountain Peak, with his friends. When he was at a certain point, everyone took a break. Then someone pulled out some marijuana. Let us smoke and enjoy. So they were passing it around to each other. But when it reached to him, he looked at it and he said, he looked up at that hill. He looked at the next hill. Do you know who he was looking for?
His mom.
His mom. Why? There's a certain heart that she left inside of him. If you smoke this, do you know what will happen? That heart start to come out. So even when he was in an environment of the pressure from his friends, that heart could defeat all those pressures. What we're doing is replacing them with a new heart or a new mindset. No matter where they go, that will prevail.
So you're trying to combat their environment. So take it from the example that you provided in the beginning of the conversation, where we're doing all these activities and they're behaving themselves because they're in an environment that is allowing them to behave in a certain way, but it goes right back when they go back to their reality. Right. So you're trying to continue that behavior regardless of the environment that they're in.
Right. Unfortunately, we can't change environments.
Yes.
Right. But we can change the heart of the individual no matter what environment they're in.
I mean, it's a lot of work. You must have a huge team behind you. Let's talk a bit about your team here in Belize. Do you have a team?
So right now, there are just 2 members of staff in Belize because we came recently.
Okay.
According to the work that we have to do, our staff will increase. We're an international organization in over 100 countries. Right now, I have no idea what our staffing is like across the world. According to the staff that we need, they will come to Belize. That part I have no worries about. We have the human resource.
So, Paul, you were talking about a curriculum, right? But I see you brought here with us for us a book to look at, and it's called the Mind Education Principles and Case Study. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. So this book is what we are using in all the courses. but the book is designed for primarily a school setting. It has 5 units. Each unit, it goes through case by case to cover the entire curriculum. There are roughly 50 lessons to be covered in the entire curriculum. The first unit is talking about introducing the world of the heart, because we never were taught about this, so it teaches them about the heart and what is there. The second unit is focusing on self-control. The third one is teaching them to think deeply. The fourth one is teaching them about connection and exchange. And then finally, what people always want to see, change. But this change is not temporary change, but lasting and true change. That comes at the end after the heart has been changed. And it's simplified in that it has lectures, a case study, and also activities. So actually it can be used somewhat as a self-study. Actually, we don't recommend that because you need a technical expert to go through.
Guide you.
Right.
Yeah.
This, I mean, so this is kind of what you would, it looks like a high school textbook.
It does. Even a university textbook,
yes,
if you ask me.
So, one more time for our viewers, because we're slowly wrapping up.
Yes.
Where are you located in Belize City, and how can people reach you to talk to you more about your program?
Sure. We're located at 5548 Leslie Avenue. That's in Kings Park. Actually, we're right behind Twins Supermarket.
Okay.
Everybody knows Twins Supermarket, right? We're right there. That is where our center is. We can be contacted at 601-4750. That's 601-4750, or through email at info@iyfbelize.org.
Is there a website or social media or anything that we can look at? Or no, we're not say yes to the social media.
Yes, we do. That's how we're going to reach young people. So any social media platform, IYF Belize, at IYF Belize. Also, our website is iyfbelize.org.
All right, well, Mr. Garvey, like you said, you guys recently came to Belize, and you're now starting up and beginning to build those networks. So I'm sure there's great things ahead for IYF, and I'm positive that this is not the last time we will see you and hear from you. And I think our nation really needs something like this. We really need a new approach, because for years, for decades, we've been recycling these same old approaches, and to even hear again that you're engaged and your team is engaged with our leaders, that definitely is an encouragement. So kudos to you and the IYF Belize team, and we look forward to seeing the work and the results that you guys are going to create, no?
Yes. Thank you so much. But with that, we're going to take a next break, and when we get back, Belizean basketball athletes here to talk to us some more about their baseline sports. So stay tuned.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, because God's children are human beings made of flesh and blood, the Son also became flesh and blood, for only as a human being could He die, and only by dying could He break the power of the devil, who had the power of death. For many years, my friend Vern Williams and I walked up and down the streets throughout Belize sharing the gospel of Christ and personally meeting and identifying with the warm-hearted people of this country. Often people would recognize me and say, "I never knew I would meet you personally." To me, Christmas helps us know that Jesus is not just someone we can know about, but someone who came to live among us and die for us, that we could know Him personally. I once heard of a Persian Shah who loved his people and desired desperately to help them, so he dressed as a poor man and sat with his subjects. There was one commoner he especially liked. He ate this man's coarse food, and when the poor man was happy, the Shah was happy with him, and when sad, the ruler shared his sorrow. Then one day the Shah revealed his identity, and he expected the commoner to ask for a gift. But gazing upon him, the man said, "You left your palace to sit with me. You cared whether my heart was glad or sad. Others you may bestow riches, but to me you have given the priceless gift of yourself." This, my friends, is what Jesus did for me and what Christmas means to me. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
We hear people complaining about the rising cost of premium fuel. But here's the reality. Only 15% of the driving population use premium, and all of our critical sectors use diesel and regular fuel. Since March, GOB has absorbed all increases to diesel and regular, losing millions of dollars in revenue. In January 2022, excise tax on diesel was $3.57 per gallon and $3.95 per gallon of regular. Today, government has reduced that tax to 1 cent on diesel and 90 cents on regular. Additionally, GOB is subsidizing our transportation and tourism sectors. Complaining is easy and free. Rebuilding an economy which was flatlining in 2020 is not. Let us continue to work together to deliver on Plan Belize.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
All right, welcome back. For our final segment this morning, we have some young, promising Belizeans youths with us. In our last segment, April, we're talking about the youths. We're talking about affecting change and affecting mindset. Well, these young men that we have in our final segment, they're well on their way to changing not only their own mindsets, but that of their community and that of the athletes across Belize City. We have with us none other than Rodville Gladden, a basketball coach, along with Raymond Gongora and Justin Bailey. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you guys.
It's such an honor to have young, positive, black Belizean men, young men on set with us this morning to talk about something you guys love and are passionate about, sports, but more specifically basketball. Coach, I know you've been doing this for some time. How old are you? I don't mean to put you up on the spot, but it's encouraging to see that at such a young age you're so focused on this type of work.
Well, older than I look.
You're older than you look.
Yeah.
That's enough, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did coach basketball for over, 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? I shot, so
yeah.
I play for a little bit, but I say, you know what? I shot and everybody taller me. So I don't think it'll be a career for me.
Okay.
So the only else thing left that because I know the game, coach. And even that take what time before you learn where the ins and outs of coaching, anger management, all of that. Because then you as a coach, you get frustrated, right? So even with that, you had to figure out watch videos, just pay more attention to details, right? So with that, over 8 years now.
Okay. So you're the coach for over 8 years.
Yes.
You're 16, so you're the coach for your 8. I don't see mess with your
Why did I So what's the age range that you would coach?
I coach all the way from 15 up.
Okay.
Right. So right now I have a U18 team in the league where it happened with City Council. Right. And then we just finished our season with Ahmadiyya. Right. These guys are top players in the league. You understand? This one average maybe 20-25 points. He had a team where he averaged maybe 15 points a game. So then there are the top players where I decide, you know what, make I just handpick. Right? Because if you invite people to come, the whole Belizean come.
Everybody else. Because you have a lot of people interested.
Right.
They're here to talk to us this morning about your collaboration with Baseline Sports. So talk to us about what Baseline Sports is and how you guys are involved.
All right. So basically, Baseline Sports is an agency, right, that the United States, and they invite players, different players, during free agency period. Basically between July and August. Last year it was August. We went, right? So you go there and you show your talent, showcase your talent, and you have coaches overseas. You have coaches from the G League. You have coaches and owners from the NBA will pass through and players.
So then you get scouted.
Yes. Okay. So you get scouted by those teams, right? Now, if you're one of those people, you get a chance to play basketball for money.
So then talk to us, Justin and Raymond, what that would mean for you essentially.
Well, for me, it would be a great opportunity because for so long, to try pushing your basketball, you don't really get so far because it is kind of limited, right? So when I had this opportunity that I say, well, I go for it because I don't know where out there so, and I will find out I could have better talent than some of the people out there.
So what position you play on the court?
Me, I play shooting guard, a small forward.
Okay, look like Jason Tatum. And Shaq.
Everybody tell Everybody tell you.
What position you play, and tell us a bit about what this experience means for you.
I play 3, 4, and 5. That's a great experience, and I've been to play ball for so much years.
Yeah.
So about time I get recognized. Yeah. Well, Belize coaches, I Belize too. Keep back a lot of young youth talent. So right now, we going out there, we have a better chance over that side.
We often see, not just in basketball, but other young professional athletes where, you know, under 18, they're doing well, they score well, and then there's a gap after that, right? So what happens after you do all of these Little League championships and all of these games? What happens between then and we don't hear from them again?
There's nowhere to go.
Okay.
That is the thing. You play high school, you play primary school, you reach 6th form, they have one game in an ad-lib, right? And after that, there's nowhere to go, right? There's the elite basketball level, but these are people with names.
Favoritism.
Yes, so there's no recruiting. There's no, I'm going out there and I'm going to go scout this person. Yeah. There's nothing like that. That those people come, okay, this person with name, I will take this person because I hear about her. Then they'll go do their own scouting. Now with me, I not just take person with name, I take people from, okay, I'll watch you for you raise up because I'm a there, right? They have more basketballs to play. Well, I've recent now, I guess that the city council or whoever, they put more basketball out there, right?
Sports council.
So now with that, now I have my job easier. Because now I can watch these guys play in an amateur league. I can watch them play for sports council. And then I can also watch them at the elite level. So now my job make it easier now. So now that's like I tell the guys, this is my last year of coaching. After this, all I am doing is just scouting so that next year, when the trip come again, I have enough.
So tell us how you got in touch with Baseline Sports. How did that collaboration happen?
That funny story. Coupe, well we know as Coupe, but Glenn Lopez, one of the top point guys I believe. Couple years ago, I got in touch with an agent from Argentina for his brother. And his brother ended up blowing out his knee, so he never did gone again. And I'm just give that up. You know, I never follow that up no more for nobody else. And then he called me and said, so why you can't do for me what you do a couple years for my brother? So like, that tough, because then I got no contact with the agent at all for Argentina, and somewhere along the line I dip on Facebook to scroll. And I say, I just post in our group, because I did now a lot of coaching groups, and I post in a group and I tell them how I have players I believe where, you know, interested to get out there and show their talent. The agent messaged me back and told me, send me one video. I had videos of Coupe, and the man said, oh, I've heard of this kid. And, you know, that's how it come about, that he invite me and Coupe for call, and I tell her, okay, so why just bring Coupe way to Vegas by himself? Why not just bring my team? So he say, that makes sense. You know, and we did last year. Coupe had a job offer, right? He's supposed to go to Mexico August, right, to do training camp. And once training camp is finished, he should get offered money to play for the rest of the season, right? So the agent decided, you know what, why don't make you part of my agency? And then in a way that you could always bring your players.
Quality players. You know, I'm always encouraged by the will of our athletes, young athletes, to develop themselves given the circumstances in Belize. I grew up in a community where we had a lot of basketball players. That was one of the main sports, because when you go to the community center, you go to the park, there was a basketball court and a football field. And a lot of young men flocked to the basketball court. And growing up, they've always held on to the dream that, man, one day I will make it. One day I will make it to the NBA. And we talk about a lot of personal training, a lot of self-determination. Nobody have to tell them to wake up the morning and run the court, run laps. Nobody have to tell them to come out at night and compete with the other guys for kind of test their skills and test their strength. The sad thing is that there comes a point where a lot of these skilled young men kind of give up the dream because life get real.
Right.
You start become an adult, you realize, wait, I have to eat, bills have to pay, I don't got enough time.
Right.
And then you see skilled, promising young athletes just
lose it.
Lose it, and then you're like, man, you really wish you had.
When I grew up, we had basketball players, right? And then the crime started.
Yeah.
And I decided that, you know what? This doesn't make sense. I can't come up at this court and then people will bring guns, people will do this. And I decided that I just want to build a yard court. And we call it Orange Court Generals, we call ourselves, right? And that was part I started bring teams, and with that I bring, the first year I brought a team in at Amadea, my team was trash. Mean like
I never had them, but yeah.
No, everybody beat for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, low and blow. And
sad.
The second year, I won the championship.
Wow.
The second year. So, but that because not only because I'm the athlete, but the athletes also see my work ethic as a coach. Like, wow, you're the only coach really practice in this league? No, that not happen. We not practice, we just play ball. But what happened now? You see other coaches pick up that same thing.
I want to hear a bit about, just briefly, both of your personal motivation and training experience in terms of as you were growing up and how you found your love for basketball and how you've been able to hold on to that despite the challenges. We'll start with you.
Well, my dad, I'm one of the best I believe.
Okay.
Raymond
Shot
Gongara.
Yeah.
So he always push me. I never want to play no basketball in the first place, but he always push me and push me and push me, and so I fell in love with the game. Everything I know now, I learned from here, and I thank you for that.
So where would you train, like growing up?
Well, the court, everywhere I move, the court always there right up the street for me.
Yeah.
So it never hard for training. So like, I thank you for everything.
Mr. Billy?
Well, me growing up, it me kind of hard for me because I had a family member, a cousin, that everybody seemed like he not a better basketball player. So we had a little competitive
rivalry, family rivalry.
Yeah. So a lot of times we play ball together and go and try to work out for like national teams and stuff like that. He always get picked and I always get left out. I always think like that happen, and then in a high school and I really play ball, I may lose it, and then my friends there and thing, they say, why you could play ball? Why you not continue to play ball? You bad man. Then that my friends there and my family, they tell me push it and see how far I could get with it. And from then I'm just in love with the basketball. I just start play ball and different things like that. And workout wise, it's never really hard for me because I live right up the street from a basketball court.
Yeah, so I live up the street from a basketball court.
Not only that, so if well, I don't know how much of the videos they have, the footage, but if I watch Justin Bailey and some of the footage, he's one of the highest jumpers. He and the next guy from Akayo, I believe people will watch them because of their height, and then the way how they get up off of the ground, they're like, what?
what do you look for, like when you're doing your scouting? Because obviously you have experience in this, and you look and you could see skills, and I could imagine when they're young guys see you wrong and you got your iPad in and say, all right.
I look for what I see or what I saw last year, right? I got at the camp and I see domination. I see people jumping out the gym. I see a guy, this body built, bully everybody. You understand? Dominate the whole camp. And today they're making 5,000 US a month. You understand what I say? So that's the way I look for this year. I look for somebody where they dominate, somebody where jump out the gym, somebody who have ball control.
So you currently the scout right now?
Well, no. I have
them.
People. Yeah, I have people when you know we leave this Monday.
Okay,
and
this Monday you're leaving.
Yes, so we the camp at the 13th and 14th. But I leave early this year because last year I left the exact time for go to the camp and the guys me kind of tired.
No.
So
they need to sleep at least.
Right. So this time I left earlier, get them a little extra, and then them want extra workout. I will had to come back right away. So I even get them an extra for stay over there for a little while, so that we could, if they want an extra workout, we could do it.
So what are you expecting out of this 2-day camp?
Well, I expect a good experience about what kind of talent is out there, and I expect to say at least one of our guys get a contract again. I expect that.
You?
See everything. I wish the best. I wish everybody the best. Good luck for everything.
I like that. I like
the good sportsmanship.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they do it for TV.
No, I'm sure they're genuine.
Okay.
That, you know, I know about me about the team. Once one of my boy make it, I
we
good.
make it, yeah.
If two of we make it, I good. Tell me a bit about sponsorship. I know these trips, they're not cheap. With tickets, with the talk, lodging,
Hotel,
food. Tell me a bit about sponsorship, how much you've been able to raise in terms of percentage, and what you still need before you head out.
Basically, sponsorship has come in from BTB, Social Security, Atlantic Bank, Atlantic Insurance. So those 4 for now.
And this is you hitting the ground, getting to these people.
And they contribute, right? And they took a while, but they helped. Except Social Security, them right away because they did it last year.
Okay.
So
they know.
Yes, all they wanted was footage from the camp last year, and okay, go ahead, bang, we had it, right? So that is it, and we still are looking for sponsorship because we still have our rooms left, and the shuttles, and so that we have to pay for to get to the room. So basically, you look maybe at 1,200 US left for raise. You know, so whoever could call help, we ask that you reach out. We not ask that to give all, but you could still reach out some kind of way. You know, my number is 615-7200.
615-7200.
And near Rodville, OCG Gladden on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, we definitely don't want these Belizean athletes that are making us proud sleeping on the street side in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Las Vegas are the worst place for sleep on the street side.
We're not sleep.
You know that.
I see movies.
Okay.
They're not sleep real. They're not sleep, and very hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't tell me guys that they have to wear a lot of short thing and they have to drink a lot of water.
Yeah, stay away from the casinos. All right, well, Coach, Mr. Gongora and Mr. Bailey, all the best, man. It's always good to have you, Coach. It's always good to catch up and to hear what you're doing in collaboration with our Belize athletes. And these young men, I'm sure they're indebted to you 100 times over. And if they don't tell you, we'll tell you. We're proud of you and the work that you've been doing. So keep it up. All the best. Okay?
Thanks.
All right, so with that, we'll take our final break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up this morning's show, so stay tuned.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier. My parents always said, when it's time to build, invest in quality products that last a lifetime, even if it means paying a little more. It is now my turn to invest in my own home, and it's not even a question. It has to be Oran Windows. My contractor recommends Oran because of the heavy-duty construction, the thickest gauge blades on the market, and the dual locks that allow lower louvers to close independently for privacy while the top remains open for airflow. These features make Oran aluminum louver windows the best on the market.
With Oran aluminum louver windows, you get strength, durability, and beauty with an added layer of security and protection against debris and damaging winds. Come in and check out the variety of sizes and colors at Design Depot, located at Mile 3 Philip Goldson Highway in Belize City.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority.
Fingerprint recognition is here. Social Security at your fingertips.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
And we're back just like that. We started off the show with a different co-host, and then we kind of do Ali switcheroo, and yes, Ali remix, and you know, we've always ended off here with you with wonderful Channel 5 family positive vibes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's only handsome faces you get over here, April. So whether that's John, whether that's Paul, whether that's Brighton, whether that's Gavin, I mean, come on, we always bless your TV with the beautiful smiles and the good looks, you know, so you never miss one when the next one comes.
So Paul started his morning right, apparently. But of course, you know, we have to say goodbye. We got to go. But we want to thank all of you for tuning in and viewing. And of course, we want to thank all of our guests, those from the Atlantic and RF&G Insurance that came to talk to us about what we do need to discuss when it comes to inflation and how that affects your insurance premium and so forth. So talk to your insurance operator to learn more, look at your policies and so forth. And then Paul came in just in time.
For the IYF
Yes.
Belize, I mean, the whole mind education program, looking forward to seeing the results from that. And then, of course, going from that youth conversation to seeing youths, to speaking with youths that are actually engaging their minds and bodies in something positive in sports, and then actually for them to see some of their dreams and aspirations come to life by heading to Las Vegas. So amazing stuff, April.
Always wonderful conversations here on Open Your Eyes. And of course, we want to remind you all that on top of Open Your Eyes and News 5, we are kicking off the KTV, the Remix series, Season 4, this Tuesday. So whether you're watching from home, your computer, or at the Bliss, you want to stay tuned to see which one of your favorites made the cut after last night's audition tape. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. But before we go, we also want to give a big shout out happy birthday to Zachary Cleland. Happy birthday, Zachary, from all of us here at Channel 5. We hope you have a wonderful birthday.
Yes.
And if you have a family member or a loved one that you'd like to send birthday greetings to, or you have questions or concerns or comments, always drop us a line right here. Yeah, at oye@channel5belize.com. And if you want to hit us up on our socials, watch your live stream, you can check us out on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ or on Instagram at OYE Belize. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in. You wake up this morning and you
start your morning right.
From all of us here at Channel 5, be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your heart wide open.
All right. Tomorrow, Belize. Bye.
Peace.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.